So hi, as I said on Facebook, tonight's Big Irish Blog is a special edition. I'm just going to answer a bunch of questions because today's just been a day. And if you live in America, you probably know about some political stuff that happened that, yeah, okay, I had an opinion about it and blew up on my timeline is not uncommon. One of my colleagues, Gareth Starka, for whom this is also a truism very frequently, he followed somebody else's lead and posted up an interesting thing, quoted the guy, and so I'm going to quote him quoting the guy, which basically says, ask me a question, any question, and something about what I do, interests and or hobbies, likes and or dislikes, whatever. No, this will not make the world a better place, but I need something to write about that will not bring down the ceiling. Well, I don't need anything to write about. I've got tons of I need to be writing when I'm in the middle of a move and blah, blah, blah. But this, I need to do a Big Irish Blog because I've been behind on this, and this seemed like a really good idea. So I did it, and wow, a bunch of you guys had some questions. So I decided I'm going to answer them. I'm going in fairly cold, right? Very, very brief skim, really didn't read it many. There was one question that didn't follow the rules, and I answered that one online, but the others are all part of the cool gag, and so here I go. Just kind of extemporaneously riff off of your questions, and if we like it, we'll do it again as a semi-regular thing for the Big Irish Blog. Kimmy Johnson asks, Kimmy's the one that did the Mythical Air stuff, that's cool with the pre-molded things, and I did a thing. We both did Kickstarter. It was fun. What did you want to be when you wanted to? What did you grow up? Take two. What did you want to grow up to be when you were little? I wanted to be an astronaut. No, not kidding. I wanted to be a soldier, a graduate of West Point, knight in shining armor, because I had very, very big ideals back then about what all that was. And I wanted to go to become an astronaut. It was like, well, you should have gone to the Air Force Academy. Well, Frank Borman, who owned Eastern Airlines, who my dad worked for, was an astronaut. He came out of West Point, so that's what I was going to do. I don't know. West Point was Camelot, and none of that worked out. But that's calculus. That's what happened. And that's how come I'm a game designer. There's more to it than that, but there you go. Charles White, what's your favorite thing you've ever written? Wow, there's three. I love all my children, but there's three things I have to bring up here. One is High-Tech Enemies. It turned out to be such a blast. It was my major entry into the games industry. It was a pitch I did off the seat of my pants because I promoted to the Hero Games guys at DragonCon that year. It was my first try to pitch something back in '89 to get into the games industry, further in than I had been at that point. And I promoted something called The Final Reich, which was very Nazi-themed villains in their own island and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we love it, we can't do it. We just had to have Wings of the Valkyrie pulled off the shelves because of the Jewish Anti-Defamation League. There was a whole controversy and blah, blah, blah. They couldn't touch Nazis. So if you got anything else, and just boom, I riffed off this idea of a thematic enemies book, which Champions hadn't done at that point, based on high-tech enemies. And history was made, and I also introduced a lot of cool stuff into the Champions universe with those books, with continuity and ongoing storylines, and I'm still very proud of that work. Second of all, the Fantasy Role-Playing Gamer's Bible, first edition of that, connected me to the entire industry. I got to meet all the amazing people, the greats, you know, the people who made the history of our games and our hobby. I got a chance to take all these cool ideas and do a definitive source book, and even add a little bit to the culture as far as ways to look at games and evaluations. And then it was a major turning point in my life and in my career, and I'm still very proud of that work. And it was a lot of fun. I got to it opened that world to me in ways that nothing else ever had. And thank you, Brad Strickland, for recommending me to your agent to do that book. So that was awesome. But finally, my most fun thing. All right, I just have to say the most fun thing I've ever written. Chuck Wendig did all the rules and stuff like that. I did the forward. I did the forward for Dudes of Legend. Dudes of Legend. That's all I'm going to say. Google it. You can almost certainly find it for free out there. It was the most hysterical thing. Not safe for work. Just fair warning. But it's my most fun thing I've ever read. Or that I've ever written. And thank you, Eddie Webb, for letting me do that. And I hate you for making me pose for that picture. Not really. It was fun. Anyway, Logan England asks, if money were not object, what's your 5-year plan? Dude, me and 5-year plans. They don't exist. I'm lucky if I have a 5-month plan. Right now, my plan is get us to Denver. After that, get all my Shinetar stuff done because the fans have been waiting. Now, I would love to see Shinetar explode with all the digital options that are out there for that style of gameplay, not for MMO, but to use the digital tools that exist and see this thing truly explode globally with this shared world concept and blow it up, not just from the Shinetar continent, but the whole world of Starfall, and have this truly epic shared campaign with lots and lots of gamers enjoying it in different ways. So from a creative standpoint, from a dream of what I want to do, I'd love to produce other types of media based on Shinetar as well. My 5-year plan also involves finally getting my superhero system done and getting some superhero stuff out there. Beyond that, travel. I want to go to Europe. I want to spend a lot of time in Ireland. Sean Patrick, Fannon, Ireland, England, Scotland. I'd love to spend some time there, but I'd love to see the rest of Europe. I'd love to travel. I want to see this planet and see other cultures and see other cool stuff. That would be my biggest thing. As far as a plan, I don't know, but that's what I'd like to do. But for now, let's just get to Denver in 2 weeks. What is your pet peeve? Asks Ward Miller. Wow. That's a rough question to ask me today. You've seen some of my pet peeves today. People who are completely unaware of other human beings in their life and in the world. People who are entirely into themselves and or their philosophies outside and with no sense of real life and the people around them. That's a huge pet peeve. Mess, right? I don't mind. It's not really messy, but just absolute complete chaos. I get really peevish. I'm surrounded by chaos right now. It's a necessity, but I like to live with a little bit of. And I know, Sean, you're wild and crazy. You're not Mr. Organized. I know I'm not, which is why living in a mess is. So there's that. I love you, sweetie. But it's just off the top of my head. There's other pet peeves. God knows I have plenty of them. That could be a whole nother blog. Matthew Schwartz asks, Lobo or Superman? Dude, Superman. Lobo's a cartoon. I mean, I don't care how he's depicted. He is a stupid, silly. He is, in my opinion, Snarf with muscles and the capacity to kill. But he's just that. He's a joke who makes a mockery of the continuity that I would prefer him not be in. Superman, I dig. I love Superman when he's not turned into, I can just fix everything, God. When he's actually, believable, powerful, but still believable power levels, and is just struggling constantly against a world that does not get him and that he does not get. Yeah, he's a much better character. Gandalf or Elminster? Ooh. Gandalf, dude, do something. You've got magic. You never use it. At the most desperate times, you're whacking things with your stick and your sword. Throw a bolt or something. You guys would appreciate it. Love you, man. Elminster, he gets stuff done. A little crazy. Maybe a little too powerful to be fun. I mean, there's got to be somewhere in the middle, right? But Elminster belongs to my bud. Rock on there, Ed. So, Then Mord and Matthew get into an argument about... Yeah, never mind. Ruben Rivera, if you could choose a world to live in other than here, where would it be? Well, you would, of course, expect I'd say Shinetar, but only if I actually could, remake myself into an action hero who could survive, then yes. Or be Sidarin. Okay. But if I had to go as me, I couldn't survive in my world. My world's too damn dangerous. That's just the truth. The world of Star Trek, right? Maybe without the Borg invasion stuff. But other than that, yeah, I'd love to live in that future. And my brother understands completely why. And this, of course, anybody knows my politics probably does too. But yes, I'd love to live in the next generation, specifically, world of Star Trek. Chip Rose asks, Sean, what is your opinion of LARPing? Both theatrical and boffer, please. Oh, love LARPing. Got my daughter involved in LARPing. Then things just didn't quite work out, and she misses it. Would love to get it back into it again. Would love to get it back into it again. LARPing is one of the main foundations of my thinking on how to do shared campaign. You guys understand, LARPers and LARP organizers especially understand how to do massive shared reality in which a whole bunch of people have an investiture into the canonical story. And I've used these techniques and these thinkings and these philosophies for what I'm doing with Shine Jar. So massive props. Love it. Would love to be more involved. Theatrical art, of course, I don't have to be as physically capable, so it's much easier on me with my health. And I love walking around and inhabiting a character. I just wish I had more time. I do intend to find time to do LARPing when we get to Denver, because again, Sammy loves it. Corinne enjoyed it. So it's something I want to get back involved in. Boffer LARPing, if you can find me a group where the kids aren't treating it like a sport and just using the old man to abuse, then I'll play. And if it's strictly sword boffer, LARPing, and the kids are, I'm a sportsman wearing an outfit, if they're treating it like a sport and it's all about how fast I can kill you, I don't want to play. Sorry. If the rules are too complex that you can't live in the live action and role play while you're fighting, not interested. If I can find a rule set that works, and especially one like a steampunk level one or something would be cool, where I can use guns, like Nerf guns. Oh man, find me a Nerf boffer / Nerf gun LARP where the rules make sense. I'm there. I may have to design one. I don't know. Like I have time. But I love LARP as a general rule. Rob Adams, which do you like better, Through the Looking Glass or the Emerald City of Oz? I'm going to have to expose myself to both of those, and that sounded completely wrong. I'm going to have to get exposure to both of those before I can give you an intelligent response. Sorry about that. Gotham or Metropolis says, or asks Richard Brown. I think Metropolis is probably going to have the better nightlife and be a hell of a lot safer overall. I am not living where Joker makes his... No, I'm just not. No. DC or Marvel? Robert Downey Jr. is my hero now, so it's got to be Marvel. Make mine Marvel. I love DC, don't get me wrong. I just wish they could get it right. For a long time, I was more into Justice League than I was into the utter complexities and bizarreness that I saw was happening to the Marvel Universe. I just couldn't keep up anymore. It was just, what the hell? But then Marvel Cinematic just changed all that. So I'm really up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So make mine Cinematic Marvel Universe. And then we'll see what happens. I wish I could afford to read comics, is really the truth. Let's see. K. Steele asks, toilet paper over, under. Oh, wait, that one leads to... I don't care. Over. Anybody who says under, I don't know what the hell you're thinking. I just don't. Logically, you're wrong if it's under. You're right if it's over. End of discussion! I have spoken! Oh, God, the flames. Anyway, moving on. We skipped that one. Robert Hensley III asks, so when did you start gaming? 1977. Discovered Games Magazine article talking about Dungeons and Dragons in my 6th or 7th grade year in the school library. Went out, found the box set that had the dragon sitting up on the pile of treasure looking all smug at the two heroes in the foreground. Inside the powder blue cover with the same image they keep on the Borderlands, which led to the Christian. So 1977 taught myself to be a dungeon master. So I go all the way back. Let's see. Phil Vecchione, sorry, brother. What is a game you have read and wanted to run, but none of your players were interested in playing, and so you have yet to run? Okay, this is not meant to be arrogant. It's just a truth of my reality. I've never had a game I wanted to run that I couldn't find players for. My problem was finding games I wanted to run and then discovering I didn't like them as much as I thought I would, and having my players get pissed because I wasn't going to continue running that game, because they were enjoying the game because I was making it a good game. I'm not a plumber, so I suck at plumbing. I'm not a car guy, I suck at car guy stuff, mechanics. I'm not a cook. There's all the things I'm not good at, but I'm pretty good at running games, even with a bad system. So my players were having fun, but I wasn't enjoying running the system, so that was the problem. They were getting pissed because, like, dude, I want to continue this character. It was mostly happening with superhero systems, so you just never find the one that quite gelled for me, which is why I'm designing my own now. Ooh, I let that one drop. More on that later. So I was trying to encourage people, okay, so we'll keep the concept and we'll try it in another system, but that got old too. So I've never had a problem with a game I wanted to run. Lots of games I wanted to play. Like you gave me a chance to play in Dungeon World, which I appreciate, up at Queen City Conquest. I enjoyed that. I would love to play again. The crew up in Pittsburgh gave me a chance. Randy Ost, thank you very much. Gave me a chance to play Fate, finally. I really enjoyed that, and that's a game that I may actually run. I don't think I'll have a problem finding players once I decide to do it. When I have time! So that's a roundabout way of saying I haven't had a situation, but I've had similar situations. I am re-examining Icons, the new one. Steve Kenson, this is a note to you. I'm kind of interested. We'll see. We'll see if you address the things I was wonky about the first time around. It looks like you might have. It might be fun to tinker with. Anyway, that's a side note. Moving on. Jerry A. Compton, of all the game mechanics you've had a hand in creating, which one are you the most proud of and why? Well, there was a time we were playing a game at Con of the Cobb, and all the savages gathered, and Chris Casera, one of my best friends, was actually running a game, and I was getting to play along with Shane Hensley, Clint Black, and a bunch of the other guys. And I had created a rule for rolling some dice to, as a leader character, get adventure cards, action cards, initiative cards, basically, additional ones, and then you could trade them out with people in your team to give them better initiative or to change their initiative around. And Shane saw that in play. He's like, "Wow, that's a really cool mechanic. That's a kind of neat one. I'm surprised I haven't used that more. I'm glad we put that in there." And Clint had said, "Shane, we didn't. That's not one of our mechanics." And I was like, Chris basically said, "Yeah, Sean came up with that one." I was like, "Hey, well, that's a great idea." So now there's Tactician that does that. So I'm pretty proud of that, actually, because we all riff. This is not hey, he stole my idea. No, we all riff together. We all share. We all enjoy and share ideas. It's a very open and creative environment. And I'm really proud of my contributions to Savage Worlds. So that was a fun thing. I'm also very proud of the response I've gotten to the day in the life stuff. Adding an actual playable, gameable mechanic to the idea of non-combat time, so everybody gets a turn and everyone is actively engaged in the round-robin table experience of accomplishing things and getting to do things with those skills you normally don't get to do anything with, or you just kind of hope they one day come into play, and you're really able to make use of them now. Specifically for Shintar and generally useful for Savage Worlds, but I've heard a lot of people using it for LARP and other game systems entirely now. So I think I'm going to have to revisit it with a broader, expanded version at some point in my copious free time. But yeah, I'm really proud of that. So if you've not seen Day in the Life, you might want to take a look at it. It's a really neat mechanic that you could very easily adapt to almost anything you're doing. Like I said, I know a guy who's using it for his LARP right now, and it lets people have a segmented time to use skills and pursue activities that are not combat related, whatever they might be, to advance their story, to advance their skill sets, to accomplish something for the good of the party. It gets into the investigations and the crafting and the courting and the gambling and all these other things you might want to be doing. So, yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. That was an untapped area, I think, that I had a lot of fun adding something to. Let's see. And Eric Russell asks, when you're in your armor and you hammer someone's head into their stomach, do you enjoy it? Yes. Yes, I do. And then Brandon Schiffler asks, what popular and or widely accepted / used game mechanic do you most dislike and why? You really went after me with that one, didn't you there, Brandon? Not a huge fan of random character creation. I have to admit it was charming in a couple of situations, but for the most part, not a fan. Anything using with percentile dice, it just feels too mathy. Gaming is based on math, yes, and dice and everything like that, but when you start rolling percentiles, it feels too much like a statistics exercise. It breaks the talisman of rolling dice and goes into the we're generating statistics. I don't know, and it's a purely personal thing, but it just never grokked it, never liked it. Some applications of the saving throw concept, I recognize the necessity of it, and I get it, but I'm not always a fan of it. And it's the one thing about Mutants and Masterminds that's kind of frustrating for me. It's like, oh, this brilliance and amazing concept of design, but the damage system and the effects system, I can't get my head around it. I love playing it. Very glad to be playing it. Steve Darnell ran a DC Heroes Mutants Mastermind 3rd edition game for me and Corinne. Loved it. Went nuts. regenerated my character for my favorite, Nick Silverwolf, and really looking forward to playing it some more. But I wouldn't want to run it because I just can't. So there. Hopefully that's a reasonable answer for the question. We're coming up in 20 right there, mark 20 minutes. So this is one of my longest ones. So we're going to call it out. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys like this, and we'll do this again sometime. Peace out. Keep the dice rolling.